38-0. That's not just a win, Chicago Bears fans. That's a statement. Caleb Williams and the first-team offense came out firing versus the Buffalo Bills. The defense pitched a shutout, and the scoreboard says domination. But before we crown the Bears as Super Bowl contenders, we have to ask, how much does it matter when it's just the preseason? Let's dive into what's real and what's just preseason noise. I'm Rob Schwartz with Bear Goggles On, and with me tonight is Justin Onayemi and Bob Weiss. This is the Halas Huddle. No trick plays. The truth is our only play call.
All right, Huddlers, we did it. We reached the milestone of 1,500 subscribers. But really, it was the Halas Huddlers and your support that made it happen. So we really appreciate the support, and we will be announcing the 3 winners of the giveaway in our next episode. Stay tuned. You might be a lucky winner.
That's awesome, guys. Congrats. We got to give a big shout out to Gary Ross, who was on the episode last week or this week, where we broke down the joint practice of the Buffalo Bills and the Chicago Bears. And that episode was fantastic, led to a lot of new subscribers. So thank you there. Gary was amazing. Good job. I'm sure we'll have him back on the show at some time. So Gary, thanks again.
Yeah, that was great. Gary did awesome. Obviously, helping Rob get there too really helped out the channel. So much appreciated. I am Bob. I am a regular member of the channel, but I'm sure we'll get Gary on again in the future.
So we ended that episode saying, what did we want to see in this week 2 preseason game? And for me, I said, I want to see smooth operation. I said, if you throw some touchdowns in there, I'll be happy too. And they did it all. So let's start and just talk about the first team offense. What did you guys see? What did you like? I mean, I don't know if there was anything not to like. I got one thing, but I don't want to start with it. So, Rob,
the first thing is just they right away, first round pick, Colson Loveland, right? And play action, roll out, get Caleb out in space, and right to your first round pick, Colson Loveland for 8 yards right off the bat. Just the guys we wanted to see make plays, make a play the first play of the game. And then you back that up immediately. You go straight to Komet down the middle for 29 yards, and not just to get the chunk yards on it, the way it happened, right? There's perfect protection up front, and Caleb Williams just takes his nice 3.5 step drop. It kind of takes a little hitch, and the ball is out. It's in rhythm. It's exactly the way offense should look.
Yeah, and there's a pocket. I mean, you talk about a guy who was sacked 68 times last year, and we've said it many times. A lot of those are on him. But with a line that should be able to protect, with a scheme that's going to demand that the ball comes out, I think I saw that his average time to throw was 2.6 seconds, and that he only hit that number 1 time last year in 17 starts. Now, I don't know if he'll do that going forward every single time moving forward, but it's great to see, and it leads to positive results.
Yeah, so obviously they're playing against a second-string defense, so that could be a big reason on why. But look, you talked about the pocket. I tracked it. They threw the ball 6 times in the opening drive. 5 of those were in pocket throws. So right there off the bat, and every single one of those were for a completion. What is even more crazy about this whole situation is, look, Tyler Scott made a bad decision on that punt or on that kickoff and just literally set them up for failure. And I am pretty sure that the Chicago Bears, even winning 4 preseason games last year, even in the winning games or games they won last year, never scored a touchdown in their opening drive. I could be wrong on that, but that's just based off memory. And look, for them to just march down the field the way that they did was very impressive. They overcame a penalty on the drive, which was impressive. By the way, it was a post-snap penalty. Got to make sure we say that, because pre-snap penalties did not happen on that drive or the second drive with the first team offense. So congrats to them. It was just an unbelievably efficient situation. And, we'll talk a bit more when we get to the new identity, but just to be able to see someone take a ball and run for 30, 40 yards in the same way that Amon-Ra St. Brown, it was literally like watching the Detroit Lions, but in a Chicago Bears uniform.
The Wizard of Oz, the Wizard of OZ. I mean, we hear he's been doing this in camp the whole time. He only touched the ball once in the game, but he did exactly what he's been doing in camp. And it shows, like, details matter. Be where you're supposed to be. Deliver the ball on time. Run after catch. That's the way this is designed, and that's the way it happened. Now, like you said, second team, hey, that's who they decided to put out there. Dominate them. And that's what the Bears did.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're going against a second team defense. We have to stress that. They looked this good against a second team defense, but you're supposed to look this good against a second team defense. So let's not discount the fact that they looked good when they were supposed to. If they looked bad, then that's something that we could say, hey, that's not great. You're supposed to look good, but they looked good. So fine. That doesn't mean they're going to look good against the Bills' number one defense, but they looked good against their second defense as they should. But also to that point, we talked about the protection was really good. Well, Braxton Jones looked okay, right? He held up good enough to get the plays going, but against a second team defensive end, like I'm just a little worried about how that might look against a real starter. And he was, obviously got the first team reps at left tackle, so he's still probably number one on the depth chart. I'm still kind of a Braxton Jones guy, but if he's just not ready, and it was pretty clear if you're looking at this guy's legs that his left leg is bigger than his right leg right now. So I still don't think he's fully healthy, but I think that's just something to kind of keep in mind, that left tackle situation is still a thing to be monitoring all the way, probably the first few weeks of the season even.
Yeah, I will point out though, he wasn't going up against Epinesa like the whole game, and he is a guy who averages 6 to 6.5 sacks.
Okay.
A year. So although he's not the starter now because they brought in Joey Bosa, like he's not just some scrub.
Yeah. And definitely when they got to the second team, like Benedette got torn apart by Landon Jackson once or twice. So that kind of happened. So it's not like the guy behind him dominated the third team.
Right.
So we'll just kind of have to see. And so the other thing, it's not necessarily first team offense, but the other guy I think really showed out in this game was Luther Burden. He showed the playmaking ability with the ball in his hand. I think it was a second catch along the right sideline. He just kind of quick out for 8 or 12 yards and then made just a sick juke to the inside where the defender knows that's the only way he can go. But the juke was so sick, it still faked him out anyway and got the extra yards after the catch. And then you see he's buying into Ben Johnson's philosophy, no block, no rock, to massively effective hard-hitting blocks at the goal line for touchdowns. You just love to see it.
Bob, I thought he was auditioning for left tackle. I mean, this dude is clearing paths for running backs to score on multiple occasions. I mean, if Braxton doesn't take the job, try Burden there. Obviously.
I'm certainly no expert, so the effort and violence was there with those blocks. I'm not sure the technique was there with those blocks, but that's fine. But I do think it's going to be an interesting dynamic. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about having too many weapons, but we see what OZ's capable of doing. We see what Burton's capable of doing. We know what DJ Moore's capable of doing. We know what Adunze's capable of doing. They feature 2 tight ends. Like, at some point, somebody is going to be unhappy that they're not getting their touches.
Well, seeing Zacchaeus do what he was doing and knowing he's making basically a veteran's minimum, I was like, this might be DJ Moore's last year in Chicago. That thought did come in my mind, but that's a future episode. Let's just enjoy the now. Like you said, having a lot of weapons is a great problem to have. And I think that Ben Johnson is the right guy to just exploit and create and exploit mismatches all day. That's what this team is designed to do.
Real quick, before I change topics a little bit here, if they did perform really bad, as you said, against the second string, this is when the Colin Cowards of the world would have been screaming on how bad the Bears are and how bad Caleb Williams is. And this will transition into, look, let's talk Caleb Williams, right? Real quick, because he is the quarterback of this team. He's the future of this team. He played well. He played very well. He was only through 60% completion percentage, but guess what? One of those was a throw to the dirt that he had to do because the screenplay just did not, the Bills read it perfectly. But if you actually watch the pre-snap motions and the stuff that was happening in that was just fantastic things that you just don't see here in Chicago very often. Going back to the Colston Loveland play, the way that they motioned him from one side to the other and then back to the other side when the ball was snapped was another amazing thing. Even the play there where Zacchaeus actually scores the touchdown, like the way that the receivers go in certain areas and then make blocks or at least position themselves in ways in order to open that up was fantastic. Like Justin said, attention to detail is just something that we're not used to here. And it's great to see. But Caleb Williams, like I said, 5 throws in the pocket, all of them completions. The other one that was incomplete was a play action pass, and there was DeMar Hamlin was in his face. No one blocked him. Looking back at it, I don't know if it was a missed coverage call by Caleb Williams missing it, or if it was just Darnell Wright went to the inside and blocked the wrong guy. I'm not 100% sure.
What I saw next, I went back and watched a couple times too. The Bills just had an extra guy. There's
Is that what
guy.
It was?
Yeah, there's
okay.
They had an extra rusher, and
it looked like
got them in time.
To me, Wright and Dahlman blocked the same guy.
Oh, okay.
But either way, Williams escaped it, which is something I don't think Jared Goff could have done, by the way. But he escaped it and put himself in position to make a good throw. He just kind of threw it too low at Zacchaeus' feet.
But I mean, to that, he at least made it a non-negative play.
Non-sack.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Well,
progress.
So, Rob, I thought what you were going to bring up, though, with the completion percentage was there was a throw to Odunze, and I feel that was a catchable ball. And that's the thing is that's an exciting duo that we're hoping to see click. And maybe there's just not trying to show too much in a preseason of what this guy is capable of, but he should have caught that ball.
So on that play in particular, I agree. It was enough on what's hopefully going to be a true number one wide receiver's hands that he probably should catch it. But Caleb Williams addressed that play specifically in his post-game conference where he said that before the play, he switched the coverage, but he had just a little bit of doubt in his head. He wasn't sure the running back was going to pick it up. And if you watch the play again, he makes an extra little half hitch backwards before he throws, and that's where the inaccuracy came from. So Caleb took ownership on kind of being. So I mean, obviously I don't necessarily like that it happened, but I like that it happened in preseason. He understands what happened, and hopefully you kind of learn and grow from it. So those kind of things stop happening. And I loved Caleb. I'm sorry, Rob, you want to?
I was going to say it's a good thing you brought that up though, because there's a lot of pre-snap identifications that he's doing, and he looks comfortable.
Yeah, I love that you made that point before you made it again, because I think it's important to pair that with how comfortable he looked post-snap. I thought that he looked like a real quarterback, right? It was, just a 3 to 5 step drop, whatever it is. The ball is out on time. My favorite rep of his was actually on that second drive, on that first 3rd and 5 he had. There was a 10-yard out to DJ Moore. It just came out. It just on time, anticipation. He broke out. That was my favorite rep of his. So the fact that he's doing that, and I also think for all of you Tyson Bagent supporters, Tyson Bagent is a fine quarterback too, but just go back and find 2 plays where they both threw the ball in rhythm and just see which motion looks like a starter in the NFL and which motion looks like a backup. The flight of the ball, the zip on it, right? I think the second completion to Loveland on the first drive is just a throw that requires such strength and precision at the same time that Bagent just doesn't have that. But Caleb, when you're able to have him operate like a real quarterback, which Tyson Bagent operates like a real quarterback, so I'll give you Bagent supporters that. But when you get Caleb operating like that, you see what talent can do at the position.
So I don't know. It's hard to pick the best throw because that one down the seam to Kmet just was beautiful the way it came out of his hand. But I agree with you, Bob. The one I liked the most, before DJ Moore even turns, he threw it to the sideline, got it, and that was on a 3rd down conversion. The Odunze drop was on 3rd down, and we know how important it is to make those types of plays. So I got a little stat for you guys. I want to throw this in there. Bears offense, 3rd and 4th down conversions. What do you think they were on the night? Because they struggled a little bit in the first preseason game.
I can't cheat. I have 3rd down conversions in front of me.
And I think I saw 4th down conversions were 2 for 3, right?
So you put them together. They were 11 for 19, which is 58%. And we're going to be soon to transition to the defense. So what do you think the defense did against the Bills?
I don't have that.
I don't think the Bills converted a lot of 3rd downs, maybe not until the 4th quarter anyway. I would say the Bills were, I was going to say 3 for 14. I don't know.
They were 0 for 8 on 3rd down and 0 for 2 on 4th down. They did not convert a 3rd or 4th down the entire game. What do you think, guys?
I think that's a tremendous segue to defense dominating all game long.
I love it. Monsters of the Midway, right? I mean, we talked about Dennis Allen being aggressive. I mean, I've seen more blitzing in a preseason game than I'm used to seeing. But hey, deal with it. We're allowed to do that, and we're going to. And we're going to be effective at it. And so Yeah,
it's just what their defensive identity is, right? With Eberflus, it was bend but not break. We're going to sit back, keep you in front of you. This is how we're going to play defense till we get into the red zone. But with Dennis Allen, it's completely different. We're just going to attack you. This is our defense. We're going to attack you, and you don't know where it's coming from. And when you see that happen with third, fourth stringers, there's constantly blitzing in a blowout game. That kind of confirms that this is what the Bears defense is going to be moving forward.
Well, it's Dennis Allen and it's Ben Johnson. I mean, I heard Ben Johnson say, we want to play on their side of the line of scrimmage. And it's just like, wow, what a concept, But it's working.
The defensive line played well. So, I mean, I don't know about the running game, at least for the starting unit. That did pick up for the second unit on the offense. I'm assuming that quote was in regards to the defense, though, and not the offense. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he wants to play on both sides of the ball for both. But the defensive line was just everywhere, right? I mean, it was you saw Jervon Dexter. You saw Dio getting in there at times, causing false starts. You saw, look, Austin Booker got hurt on a special teams play. I hope his knee is okay. I still have not seen an update. I tried looking before the show started, but nothing. Dom Robb got hurt, but he was making some, pressure. Look, Andrew Billings got in there, man. He got a sack. So
against, I think, the third string offensive line, but yes.
That's okay.
Yes, he did.
The very first snap that the defense took, it was Jervon Dexter, but I thought it was Jalen Carter. I was like, did we trade for Jalen Carter?
Well, I was going to give Rob his flowers on this one, right? I'm still waiting for Jervon Dexter to do it more consistently, right? But I think he took 3 snaps on Sunday night, and one of them just completely obliterated the offensive line. Again, a second-string offensive line, but like those are the ratio of plays that we need to see Jervon. It can't just be 1 or 2 flashes a game. It's got to be 1 or 2 flashes a drive, and then you're talking about a dominant force.
Something we did not talk about in the joint practice episode. Gary pointed out before I even got there, but Jervon Dexter got hurt in the practice leading up to the joint practice, and he has a huge thing on his arm. It's his elbow, I think. So he has this huge brace on his arm, but didn't seem to slow him down.
Yeah, no, he looked strong and quick, and it was fun to see. I think as long as we're talking about defense, we got to at least mention probably the really horrible thing that happened in this game, and that's Terrell Smith going down with what appears to be a significant injury. Maybe by the time you guys are watching this on Tuesday, there's more information's come out about that. But, for him, it's just a brutal injury because he was looking to really make an impact on this defense, right? For him and his career, it's just a tough time for it, but also just for the Bears and their depth chart. It's a tough time for it because of all the other injuries. So, I mean, where do we think, is going on here with that?
I'll be honest, had they not had the injuries, like with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, and then they had other injuries happen in camp and at the preseason or Miami game, I wasn't sure if Terrell Smith was going to make the final roster. So this might be a way for them to stash him on IR and bring him and keep him, because I don't know if he would have made it to the practice squad. So it might be, as bad as it is for Terrell Smith, it might be a good thing for the Bears.
I laugh because I think Gary might have something to say about that. But
he actually is even stronger on this than I am.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
So he can put it in the chat, put it in the comments.
There you go.
Well, I mean, it's so cliche to say, but there's this next man up mentality. And so it goes back to, do you trust your coaching staff? Do you trust Dennis Allen, Al Harris, putting these guys in the right positions to be successful? And, I'm still worried that Jalen Johnson and or Kyler Gordon might not be ready in week 1, but you're going to have injuries all throughout the season. It could be week 1, it could be week 9. And so I still am just really impressed with the way this defense looks. We talked about the defensive line, the linebackers. I mean, it's a unit. And so hopefully it's the next man up mentality, but they really are starting to, basically sign guys off the street already here. And we're coming up just two weeks a bit away from regular season, basically.
I have to at least give Hippolyte props for being the second leading tackler on the team, because I'm anti-Hippolyte, and his coverage still wasn't that great in my opinion, and partly why he was getting the tackles. But congrats being number 2 in tackles.
Hippolyte's fine. I mean, I think he flashes, but I think generally speaking on his non-flash plays, he appears to be a little bit below average. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But I mean, kind of with all that, right, we already kind of briefly talked about it, but with the injuries coming in, but we're going to get 2 big playmakers back. Like there's seems to be a real identity at least put in this game, even though the starters were only in there for half the first quarter. The rest of the game, it appeared that it was clearly established that this is the way the Chicago Bears want to play football in 2025.
Yeah, you guys mentioned play action in the beginning, and I didn't want to bring it up until we got to the identity portion of it. But what was interesting to me is the first team offense, they actually didn't run play action as much as I would have expected, especially after watching the rest of the game. So the first drive, they threw the ball 6 times, ran it 2 times, 1 had a penalty on it. Only 2 of those were in play action. And then in the second drive, only 1 of those was play action. So they only had 3 out of 10 plays, 10 passing plays, 14 plays total. There was a lot more when Tyson Bagent was in there. And I will give props to Tyson Bagent. And I know Bob wasn't trying to bash him by any means, but I will say that, look, he has established himself to me as a quarterback too. I've seen the progression from last year even to this year. And I do think that he is a clear quarterback too, something I didn't think he was ever going to amount to, being an undrafted free agent when they brought him in, right? So give him mad props there, to the point where you're probably going to have to keep 3 quarterbacks now, because with Case Keenum, I know he's got the leg injury, but he is like your extra coach. So it's like you kind of have to keep the 3 of them. And then, sorry,
this conversation again.
Sorry, Addison Reed, but you're probably going to the practice squad. So.
I think Austin Reed's a great practice squad quarterback. I think that's fine. And I'm totally fine cutting Case Keenum and bringing him on as an actual assistant coach instead of wasting one of my 53 spots on an assistant coach.
That sounds like a good thing for a 53-man roster breakdown prior to the beginning of the season.
Tease.
That's right.
So with the play action, I mean, going even back to the Miami game, there are just certain plays where you see the completion and you're like, how is he that open? And then when you see like a replay, it's because the action causes the linebackers to suck up, and you can just drop it in over the linebackers, but in front of the safeties. We saw Caleb do it. We saw Bagent do it. It's certainly going to be a part of the identity. And that's what Ben Johnson even said was so effective in Detroit. We know he likes to play 12 personnel. I mean, it's a very good formation to run play action out of, because you are kind of going out there heavy.
Out of 14 plays, 5 of them were 12 personnel in that first 2 drives.
So, I mean, like Bob, you say it a lot. Make the things look the same that are different. Make different things look the same. That's play action in a nutshell. And when you have the team off balance, they don't know what to expect. That's advantage offense. And so I definitely believe that's a huge part of what they're going to do. And it's a huge part of why we're seeing an actual cohesive looking plan enacted.
Yeah, I mean, the very first play of the game, they went play action. There's nothing established that the Bears are some running team. This is the first snap that group of players have ever taken together, and it was play action, and it was effective, right? So you don't need it.
They didn't even run the ball that much in the joint practice. A lot of them were passes. So for the Bills probably had no inkling that it was going to be thought that it was going to be a run play first anyway, but they still bid on it.
Yeah, and that being said, I do think that as the game went on, and of course the score has something to do with it too, but the Bears established the run in that second half, and maybe we can kind of get into what's real or not too, unless you guys have some more identity to get into.
No, that's all I
Okay.
have.
So, this was my, biggest takeaway from this game is that in the second half, the Bears just absolutely mauled the Bills at the line of scrimmage, especially on offense. They bullied them up and down the field, ran the ball down their throat. The play action was still effective. Karan Amagaji is looking like a stud. He the first couple of series was a little shaky, but as the game went on, he was dominating them. And again, we're talking about third or fourth string, and these guys probably aren't even going to make the team. But what that physical attitude, I am here beating on you constantly for all 60 minutes of this game, that is an identity thing. That is something that Ben Johnson is preaching to this team, and it looks like it's taken hold. If that's taken hold on your fourth stringers, you better believe that that first string is going to take on that same type of identity and personality.
Yeah, and another thing, and I guess it could have went into the identity portion, is expect to see Caleb Williams both in shotgun and under center, where I feel like he was mostly in shotgun in the Shane Waldron / Thomas Brown / whatever offense here last year. They had ran 9 plays in shotgun and 7 under center while he was at quarterback. So, I mean, it's pretty much as close to 50-50 as you can get there. You brought up Kyron Amagaji. We talked about Braxton Jones. We briefly talked about Theo Benedict. Ozzie Trapillo, what's real or not? Look, he's not going to be a left tackle for this team. Like, he's at best going to be a swing tackle. He saw 39 snaps. They were all at right tackle. Braxton Jones, 14 snaps with the first string. Theo Benedict, second/third. And then, to your point, Kyron Amagaji, third string.
I just think, we keep talking about it's all in the details. And it's almost like, he's driven home the idea that every play is a chance to increase our odds of winning a game or decrease our odds of winning a game. That's how it looks like every play is being preached. And so it goes back to what I was saying, even on the defensive side of the ball, is we're going to play on your side of the line of scrimmage, because we know if we can make you lose a yard here, that puts us in an advantage on our second down call or in our third down call. And so just the power and the weight that is behind every single play compared to last season, it's like, yeah, we're not even going to script the beginning of the game. We're just going to go out there and see what happens, And I just think that shift in thinking, and like Bob said, it's clear that the players are bought in on it. Now, clearly, there's a honeymoon period, and it's the preseason. If they lose the first 3 games of the season, are we still going to feel this way? But it just doesn't look like that's even acceptable with the standard they're trying to put in place.
I think losses will be one thing, but it's really the non-competitive nature of some of the Bears' losses in previous seasons that I hope are gone. If they go 0-2 to the Vikings and Lions, 2 teams who combined for 5 losses last year, that's not the end of the world, as long as they're competitive football games and you're not losing them from boneheadness, right?
I don't know if this is the time to say it, but there was one boneheaded part of the game. Did you guys catch that? And my son and I were watching it, and we said it in live time. But towards the end of the first half, the Bears on third down didn't convert. And so it was fourth down. There was only 10 seconds left in the half, and they spiked to stop the clock at 10 seconds. And we were like, why stop it at 10? You could run a play ineffectively and give the ball back to them. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And so I was like, this was Eberflusian to me that they would let that happen.
I think the counter to that is they converted on fourth down. They had enough time to call their timeout. They had 1 timeout left and get the field goal off. So I think that was the risk reward of it. And it just ended up being worst case scenario.
Fair, but I thought they were at a point of the field where it's like, this could be your one play kind of thing. And just, it didn't hurt them in any way.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a little odd. And honestly, I would put it more on Bagent than I would on Johnson, but if it had been last year, I definitely would have put it on Flus. So I guess I have to give it to Johnson too then.
Okay, if I want to get into a little bit before we're done here, I want to
tell you, Rob.
Look, clearly we understand that this is a preseason game, right? So we want to temper expectations a little bit. But what's real or not? What's real is this win is different than the win that we saw against the Bengals last year, 27-3. The win that we saw last year, 33-6 last year in the preseason. One big deciding difference is Caleb Williams, right? So Caleb Williams threw for 57% completion percentage, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks, shockingly, against the Bills last year, 33-6 win. The Bengals game, it was only 46% completion percentage, and he ran in his 1 touchdown and did take a 9-yard sack in that game. Okay. Not that means everything, but when you watch the game, and we mentioned it, 5 passes in that first drive in the pocket out of 6. Go back and watch those other 2 games. There are many times where he is holding on to the ball too long, flushed out of the pocket, not getting the ball out to where he needs to go. It looks so different this year. And maybe, again, my bear goggles might be a little bit too tight, but it looks so different this year with how he performed that opening drive, even that second drive, the decisions that he was making, the way that things were schemed. And I know Ben Johnson said this had nothing to do with the scheme. There was some scheme involved. Okay. I know it's a little bit vanilla, but there was some scheme involved.
Yeah.
Looking at the total numbers, though, in the 2024 Bills game that they won, they had a total of 340 total yards. Okay. 19 first downs, only 3 of 9 on third down. Compare that to the Bengals game, 299 total yards, 15 first downs, 2 of 10 on third down. This game, 530 total yards, 31 first downs, and 8 of 15, as Justin already alluded to, on third down. Like, just the way that they're playing the game is different. I don't know. Things just feel better. I know this is the one coach that I've ever wanted outside of Lovey, and I was not a big enough Bears fan to have like been paying attention to coaches back then. Something just feels different. I don't expect them to be a Super Bowl contending team because of what we're seeing in the preseason. Like I said, they won 4 preseason games last year. It just feels like they're trending in the right direction. The coaching staff is amazing. The assistant coaches, we didn't even talk about it. We talked about it pre-show. Like, the assistant coaches were the ones calling the plays in the second half, right? Declan on offense, Harris on defense. So it's like you saw Antoine Randall L as they were coming out of the tunnel as the assistant coach. This energy, Justin said it, I think 15 times already, the attention to detail that they're putting into these plays. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it just seems different. It seems real.
I can't believe I didn't lead with it. Still undefeated in 2025.
Yes. Had you done the hook, that's what it would have been.
Never lose in 2025. So I like that they ran 83 plays and only had 5 penalties and 0 turnovers. I like that they possessed the ball for 39 minutes. I mean, those are dominating statistics. So let's see if they can carry it forward.
The reality is, like, all that stuff, Rob, is 100% on point. And, you know, it's tough to say right now how much is that going to translate to actual wins and losses right away. But it should translate into looking like a competent franchise at least. Right. And then you start with competence, and then you learn how to win from competence instead of trying to overcome incompetence into wins. So it's a great place to feel right now, great place to be right now.
And an unfamiliar place as Bears fans.
We'll see. All right, boys.
Yeah. All right. This was great.
Great episode. It's always easy to do it on a win, right? Even in the preseason.
Sometimes we have fun with losses, but hopefully those types of losses are done where they're not fun anymore. We're just breaking down football why we lost, not nonsense of why we lost.
No more fail Marys, man.
Remember to join us next time for the giveaway.
Yeah. Appreciate all of the new subscribers. This has been a fun week for us. The comment section was blowing up. I tried to do my best to keep up on them. I know Bob and I are the ones that usually are the ones commenting, so we try to keep up on all of those, but it was tough, especially on a work day following up that video yesterday. So yeah,
keep the comments coming, though. We love the conversation. We love hearing what, getting so many more comments. You see even more what everybody thinks about the Bears. You guys know what the three of us think. We don't always agree. We're a little different, and we love to hear what everyone else thinks too. So keep those comments coming.
Until next time, bear down, claws up.
Ready, break.